When a white light passes through a prism, it emerges from the prism as light rays of varying colors. We have learnt in physics in our school days that a white light emerges in the colors of a VIBGR, similar to a rainbow. Welcome back to ophthalmology for undergraduates and postgraduate beginners. Today our topic of interest is colored halos. Let us see what is this colored halos. What are all the ophthalmic conditions? You will visualize these colored halos. Why this is occurring like this? Let us first learn about some basic anatomy, that too of the cornea and the lens. The cornea, as we know, it is thinnest in the center, about 0.5 millimeters in thickness, thickest in the periphery, that is 1 millimeter in thickness. The cornea itself is like multiple base out prisms arranged in a circular fashion like this. Coming to the lens, it is a biconvex structure. The lens in itself is like multiple base in prisms arranged like this. So, the normal cornea and the normal lens, they have the effect of a prism to diverge the light rays into multiple colors. But when you are seeing a bright light, what will happen? The pupil will constrict. The pupil will constrict. So when the pupil constricts, so it comes into an area like this. It comes in the area like this. So what will happen? In the small pupillar area where the light rays pass through, the prism is very minimal. The prism is very minimal. So there is no dispersion of light rays into multiple colors. But in case of mydriasis, when the pupil becomes bigger like this, what will happen? The prisms come into action while seeing the light rays and it disperses the light into multiple colors. So that will lead to seeing of colors in a round fashion, that is called as colored halos. Colored halos will be appreciated by a normal person when he is standing in the dark and looking at a very bright light some distance away from him. So that these light rays, when they pass through a dilated pupil, because of the person standing in the darkness, will lead to appreciation of colored rings around the white light. So a normal person can appreciate colored halos in such a situation. Now let us see what are all the abnormal conditions or pathological conditions where colored halos will be seen. Whenever we talk about colored halos, three pathological conditions come to our mind. One is the cuneiform cataract. In cuneiform cataract, there are multiple wedge-shaped opacities in the lens. Each one of these wedge-shaped opacities will act as a prism, dispersing the light rays into various colors. The dispersed rays by each one of these opacities, they join together to form a colored halos. Next is acute attacks in angle closure glaucomas. In acute attacks of angle closure glaucomas, you can see two things. One is the edema of the cornea. Other thing is mid-dilated pupil. I have already told the anatomy of the cornea resembles multiple prisms arranged in a circular fashion. Anatomy of the lens also resembles multiple prisms arranged in a circular fashion. Because of the mid-dilated pupil, the prismatic effect of these two structures come to a very good effect, giving rise to colored halos. The cornea is also edematous, and because of the edema of the cornea, which is causing thickness of the cornea throughout, the prism-like resemblance becomes exaggerated in the cornea also, giving rise to colored halos. Next, coming to mucus or mucopurulent conjunctivitis. You know that the mucus will be distributed over the surface of the cornea and conjunctiva. Because the cornea is convex outwards, the mucus will be thicker on the periphery and thinner in the center, making the mucus act as a prism, giving rise to colored halos. Now let us see how to differentiate between these three conditions. First, you give a saline irrigation for the eye. If the colored halos is due to mucus conjunctivitis, the saline irrigation will wash out the mucus and the colored halos will disappear. The next thing is Emsley-Finchamp's test. This test, we use two glass slides with lycopodin powder in between the two slides. This slide is moved in front of the patient's eye with the source of light behind. What will happen in cuneiform cataract? The patient will see a colored halo, but the colored halo will be broken. Why it is broken? I already told there are multiple wedge-shaped opacities giving rise to colored halos. So these wedge-shaped opacities will break the colored halos when this test is done, and from that reference we can come to a conclusion it is a cataract that is causing the colored halos. When you are moving the slide in front of the patient and there is no break in the colored halos, instead of the break you get a dimness in the colored halos. The colored halos will be seen but it will not be bright. Then that is due to acute attacks in angle closure glaucomas. We know that colored halos can be seen by a normal person when he is in the dark and looking at a bright source of light at a distance. A person with cataract, a cuneiform cataract, can also experience a colored halos. A person with acute attacks in angle closure glaucoma can also experience colored halos. A person with mucus or mucopurulent conjunctivitis can also experience colored halos. With this, we will stop here and we will talk about some other topic in the next session. Thank you.